Hello. Now just testing, make sure everything is working. I know this is kind of impromptu. I didn't plan to do this, but I have to do this work today anyways. So I thought I might as well live stream it and we'll see what happens. All two of you watching, if you'd let me know if you can hear me okay, that would be awesome. I did absolutely zero prep work for this, so everything should go very smooth. Sweet. Greg says loud and clear in the UK. Perfect. If I'm making it that far, then everybody should be able to hear me. All right. So what are we going to do today? I am working on, obviously, GenerateBlocks just released their 2.3 alpha that gives us the ability to do mega menus. So lots to learn for me on that because I haven't built many of them before. And so I've just been trying to experiment a whole bunch. So already built this one out, just kind of playing around and testing. Really like this one, but it would be kind of a beast to do inside of a tutorial just because there's so many parts to it. So I started thinking, okay, how can I make something simpler and turn it into a tutorial? And that's when I came up with this version here. So this one's just it's essentially all the same parts as this one. It's just a more simplified version. So I did, to be fair, already build this out as well, except I did it in a completely non-linear fashion and made every mistake in the book trying to figure out how to do it. So what I was going to do today, I have about an hour before I have to leave for a lunch meeting. I decided, okay, I'm going to spend this hour just trying to rebuild this menu from scratch to make sure I have it figured out and all down. So next Monday when I get here to my desk, I can record this video. But as long as I'm going to be standing here for an hour doing this, I figured I might as well just pop on the live stream and we can all test it out together. I don't expect many people to be here, and that's fine because you're probably going to watch me struggle with this. So what do we got on the website? GenerateBlocks 2.3 Alpha 2, which I think came out the same day as the Alpha 1. Must have been some kind of bug in there. And then I've gotten this page built out. Right now I just have a header, which I've actually built using press elements and then all the generate blocks to create this header. You do have to be using this style of header in order to get the mega menus to work. And then just kind of built out the site. In fact, here's a little slider, which I did for a video I recorded last week. It'll be coming out soon. But that turned out pretty neat. That's on this little demo site as well. But none of the mega menu stuff for here is set up. So we need to get all that done. All right. So we'll just jump in here to our overlay panels. I'm going to open up in a new tab because I'm going to need this other one open. And I'm going to try to remember to reference Figma in the browser here for everybody else so they can see what I'm looking at. I'm so used to opening up the app on a different screen. So that will be a new one for me. All right. So we're going to do a new mega menu. We're going to call this live stream mega menu. And we'll go into our overlay panel. It's set as mega menu, not worried about categories. I want to position this to the bottom center. I did add a class to the subscription plans menu item. So let's see. I called it, I thought I did. Oh, here it is. Menu item plans. So I'm just going to grab that class because I actually want to anchor this to a parent, which is that menu item plans, just because I'm going to want this mega menu to be centered right underneath that menu item. So do that by just positioning it to the parent. Animation in, I like the fade in up and fade out down. Duration's fine. I found that I'm kind of preferring 2 rem of distance. It just gives it a little bit more in the animation. Width mode is perfect. Good to go on that. We'll pop open our list view here and open a container. Now, when I'm doing tutorials and when I'm just doing this myself, I do it a little bit differently. I think what I'll do here is just kind of whiz through getting stuff in place, and then we'll go back and set the right HTML elements and all those kinds of things. So just kind of want to get the structure in place. So looking at this, we're going to have a wrapper that goes around the entire thing. I'll probably have another wrapper around these 3 menu items that's set up as CSS grid. And then this last item down here. In fact, this might just be all of these be a grid and this be the last cell in the grid. That would probably work fine. This wrapper is probably going to be an unordered list. These three things will be list items inside of it. So that should be fine. Yep, we'll see if we can find some bugs. All right, so let's see here. We'll set up, I'm going to try to give everything classes. We'll call this live stream mega menu. And we'll go with backgrounds, just a slightly lighter color there. Border radius, I think I did 16 pixels on it. We don't have to do it exact, but yep, 16 pixels. No, let's see, how might I want to do that? I think I am going to want to do 2 containers inside of it. So let's do 1 container there, duplicated that again. This is going to be those 3 menu items. This is going to be my call to action. So live stream, mega menu, call to action. We'll call it wrapper. Create that. Give it our nice, vibrant green color here. And we can put our text inside of it. And that said this. Go back on that wrapper. Typography. Dark. We need some padding around this as well. Maybe 16 pixels of padding. It's good enough for now. We'll go ahead and make that a link. That's going to destroy the color. All right, good enough for that. I see that this CTA is overflowing our wrapper here. So I'm going to go back into that mega menu, position, overflow, and we'll clip those. So that should take care of that. This text doesn't need any bottom margin. So let's do live stream, mega menu, CTA text. Spacing 0. All right, cool. Okay, so inside this, we need 3 containers. We'll just start with 1 because we can duplicate it. We'll call this live stream mega menu item. Yeah, that'll work. All right, so this is going to need some padding. We go with 16 pixels. Oh, not margin, padding. It's going to need an icon, so we'll do a shape. It's going to need its title, so we'll do text, plant name, and then it's going to need a description. We'll give these classes live stream, mega menu, icon, live stream, mega menu, title, ooh, maybe item title. Probably should have done item icon. Naming classes is the worst. Live stream, mega menu, item, description. Okay, so for the description, no margin on the bottom of that. We want to change the color. That works. And we want to change the size, 0.875 rem. All right, that looks good. Title, white is good. Let's get rid of that bottom margin. Probably good on that. We'll get all this centered as well. Let's see, this first one says starter, 1 plant per month. Starter, 1 plant per month. Probably want some more spacing in between that icon. Let's go with maybe 8, 16. 16 looks good. What up, Taylor? All right, let's go ahead and grab this icon. Copy as SVG. Paste that in. All right, cool. Let's duplicate that. Actually, before we do that, I'm going to call this items wrapper. We'll duplicate it. All right, so on the wrapper, so this would be live stream mega menu list wrapper. I'm going to have to work on coming up with better class names for all these for sure. All right, so we're going to do this grid. We'll do it 3 columns. Maybe add some space between them. I think we want some padding inside of this as well. It looks kind of cramped. Maybe 16 in there as well. That looks pretty good. I need this centered as well. Sweet. All right, so then we have standard and deluxe. Standard, deluxe. This is 2 plants, 3 plants. And then all of these will need to be linked. And I'm just going to put in a little # for the links. We need to change the icons. Oops. Copy SVG. Copy SVG. Sweet. All right, let's save our progress and go assign it as the mega menu, just so we can see what it looks like. What up, Andreas from Brazil? We got a Christian in Brazil as well. Brazil is representing 50% of the viewership, and UK the other 50%. All right, so this is live stream mega menu on our subscription plans. We'll go ahead and save that. Refresh here on the front end, and that looks shitty. All right, so why are these not centered? And why is there so much damn space between them? Bottom margin 1.5. I know I turned that off. Is it on the title? Yes, on the title. Bottom margin 0. I usually set all the CSS to inline embedding while I'm developing because we have less issue. Could it be caching? I'm using InstaWP, and sometimes it just doesn't want to cooperate, and I'll throw Breeze on here and clear cache and see if that helps. Nada. So look, we broke stuff. We found some bugs. What the hell is going on? All right, so it says this bottom margin. I'm not even seeing this LSMM item title. It's not even showing up here. None of the styles for it. Yeah, the item title is just coming, that bottom margin is just coming from the paragraph, but it's not in this class. I got rid of it. So why the hell? Looks great on the back end. And there it is. And it's not set on the block itself. Should be inheriting that bottom margin 0. So Something is hung up and not getting my classes. It's saved in there. All right, Jake, I will try what you say, sir. All right. In the class, go with 5 pixels. Save it. Refresh. Looky there. What a genius. Okay, so that's just it being buggy, huh? All right, cool. Okay, so now I actually want the whole item to be a link. So I'm going to use my little stretch link. This was in my starter site video and it's in my child theme, but here in my overrides, I have this stretch link class set up, which will just create a pseudo element and stretch the link around everything. So what I'll do is go back here to these items, all 3 of them, and add the stretch link class to them. Save that, refresh. Now the whole thing is a link. That is great. All right, we need some hover state. So in my little Figma mockup, I just made the background dark. So let's go to our LSMM item, mega menu item. So each one of these items, and we'll do it, can't just do it on hover and focus because we're actually focusing inside of it. So we need to do and is hover, comma, focus within. Create that. We'll go back to our backgrounds. We'll make it a dark color. And now that should take place. Perfect. We need a transition. We need some border radius. So we'll go back to that main class. Border radius, maybe like 6. Looks pretty good. Effects, transition, 0.25 seconds. Background color, ease in out. Looks good. All right, I don't think I want those underlined. They're not underlined here, and they're not green. But I'm thinking to match some of the other stuff we're doing on the site, like when we hover over these links, they turn green. When we hover over the buttons, they get an underline. So I think I want to make the link white, but on hover, make it green, make it have an underline. But we're going to have to do that on focus as well. So let's do links. Typography, we'll make it white. We'll get rid of the text decoration. And then hovered links. That's not what I'm going to want. I'm going to want A is hover. No, because I want it to be when you hover the element. That's not going to work. So let's go back to our item. We'll go in here. We'll say A. No. We'll say and is hover focus within I think that's going to be right. And we'll change the text color to green. Ah, nice. And then we'll change the text decoration to an underline. And that should save us when we keyboard navigate, which we'll test. So when we hover, it does exactly what we want. We probably want to add a transition to that text as well. And then when we focus on them, should do the same, which is perfect. All right, so let's add a transition. I know I'm getting fancy with selectors. Starting to figure this whole CSS thing out some days. And some days I can't even get, anything to work. All right, so what we're going to do, a transition. We'll just make it match, 0.25 seconds, ease in, out. I'm just going to leave it on all because I'm lazy. And now, looks pretty good. All right, so let's see. We tab through this. We get all those focused. We're getting focus on this link right now, but you can't see the outline because I've set the focus color outline to be that lime green color. So I'm going to have to think about how I might do that. And our focus ring is like cutting off that exclamation point too. Okay, so we'll have to tackle that in a minute. Did these have the border radius? They did, but our focus ring doesn't have a border radius, and that's kind of ugly. Let's work on some of the markup. Okay, so this whole list, I found a couple little things. My thought would be to make this items wrapper, which is kind of this lighter brownish grayish thing that holds my 3 items, to make that my unordered list. But I found when I do that, the announcements are kind of weird. And the announcements are fixed if you make this, whatever your most outer container is, your unordered list, the announcements are much better with the screen reader. I'm not 100% sure why that is, but it does seem to be the case. So we'll make that an unordered list. And we're going to have to go in here and get rid of, I don't ever remember if it's padding or margin. Padding seemed to fix it. Margin does not fix it, so it's definitely padding. Get rid of that. And then each one of our items here need to be a list item. So we're going to go in here and change this to an LI, change this to a LI, change this to a LI. That's going to give us dots, and it's also going to give us some padding. So we need to go into that class for these, and we'll go into spacing. Make sure that there's no margin on that. I think it's just padding, and I've set padding, so we should be okay there. Let's go into lists, default list type. We want none. Don't they still look like they've been moved over? Maybe not. Maybe I'm tripping. Okay, they're not moving. All right, so that won't change the way any of this looks, I don't think. But now we have the right markup, or better markup. I just don't know if, this should also be a list item. So we're in the subscription plans. And these are the plans. So that feels like the list to me. And this would not be the list. That is my guess. Now let's turn on a screen reader. I don't know if y'all will be able to hear my screen or not. And I don't know if I can tell. I'm going to turn on a screen reader, and then y'all tell me if you can hear this or not.
Voiceover on Brave. Visited. Link. How it works. New tab. Visited. Toggle sub-menu for subscription plan. Dialog pop-up collapse. Tab. Toggle sub-menu. Toggle sub-menu for subscription plan. Dialog pop-up expanded. Button. You are currently on a button. Inside of a button. To display a list of options, press Control, Option, Space.
Okay, so now when I tab into this mega menu, it's going to announce this list, but this list doesn't have any kind of name or identifier. And like I said, I have no idea if y'all can hear this or not, but you can at least read the bottom left corner there. But I'm going to tab into that so you can see.
Dialog, visited, link, starter, list 3 items.
So list 3 items.
On a link. To click this link, press Control, Option, Space.
Okay, good. You can hear it. Okay, so list 3 items is okay.
Visited, link, visited, link.
But you can, I'm going to turn it off now because, good Lord, 2 people talking is too much. You can go on, I guess you would have to go on this list and you can add an ARIA label like R plans. I have no idea if this is appropriate or not, but if I turn that back on.
Voice edit overlay visited. Toggle sub menu for subscription plans. Our plan. Dialog. Visited. Link. Starter. List our plans 3 items. You are currently on the list.
Now we hear our plans twice, but I like that we heard that that's what this list is, but maybe that's obvious because we're in subscription plans drop down. So I'm not sure about that. What I'd like to do is get this all set up and then hand it to an accessibility person and tell me which of these things should I be doing, because I have no idea if this really needs that ARIA label or not. I'm going to guess it probably doesn't. Usually what I hear people say is if you don't have to have an ARIA label, don't put one. Like, don't just put them in there for fun. So I'm going to not put it. Now, back to what you said here in the chat, Taylor. Yes, I could make this last one I could move it into that wrapper as part of the grid. And then I could go in here. I'm just going to do this quickly. And I'm going to say layout. I'm going to say span 3. And that should get me close back to where my layout was. I would just have to adjust where I have this padding inside here. But I don't know whether or not this is a list item of this list or not. Like, it's kind of a separate call to action. So when I look at this mega menu I built, it's a little more clear. Like, this is the list item for monthly plans, or this is the list for monthly plans. This is the list for plant types. This is not a list for either of those. This is just like a separate call to action. So in this setup, I feel like, no, this would not be part of either of these lists, right? But here I have the list of these 3 things and then a separate call to action. Like, if you don't want to pick one of these 3 things, here's this other thing you can do. So that's where I'm lost, whether or not it would be a list item or not. Let's see. You can add a heading before the items wrapper and give it an ID, and then add ARIA labeled by to the items wrapper and use screen reader text as the class for the heading. Yes, we can do that instead of an ARIA label. And when I built out this list, that's what I did. I had these 3 items here in a UL, and I said their ARIA labeled by was this monthly plans ID. And here I had all these in a list, and I had their ARIA labeled by as this title here. All right. Taylor says you could set up a double UL, so main wrapper URL with a child for the UL for the 3 cards, then a separate UL for the CTA. Okay. Is that what we should be doing? That's what I don't know. Like, I need somebody who's a genius at accessibility to say, hey, you're doing too much, or hey, you're not doing enough. Yeah, I got you. Okay, so this is already a UL of the whole thing. Now we're going to change this one that lists these items as a UL. They have their list items inside of them. This will also become a UL. We're going to have to make sure we get rid of, I think the padding's okay. And then this would actually be a list item with a link inside of it. And so this, we need to make sure no padding or margin. I don't know which one it is. And then list type none. Is that what you're saying, Taylor? So we have, this is a UL. But then this would need to be a list item, right? Or can you just have a UL with nothing inside of it? Or not a direct list item? Because we have a UL here. I'm going to rename these so we can see. So this is going to be UL mega menu. This is going to be a UL for the items. Save that. This is going to be a UL for the CTA, right? And then each one of these items, rename, this is going to be a list item for the items. Save that. Save that. Save that. And then this is a list item CTA. So this list makes sense. This list makes sense, but there's no direct LIs for this, which I feel might be wrong, right? It's almost like this UL would have to be wrapped in a container that's an LI of this. Or do you not have to have a direct child that's an LI? That's what I don't know. Let's see if it broke anything. It definitely broke some shit. Yep, listception. Would you need that main one? Does GP add a or LI for the main menu item? Okay, so you're saying, do we even need this to be an unordered list, the mega menu? I hate the delay on here because I now want to ask you a question and I have to wait 20 seconds to find out. Exactly. Okay, so this is the problem I had. If I go back and we just go back to the way this would be default when I add a container, it would just be a div, right? Let's see if this fixes it because I don't know if what I did is bugging out. Something here, maybe this margin left. Something's screwed up. Okay, but we have a bottom margin on it too. Save that. Okay, so now we have it looking right again. Okay, so this is the problem I had, Taylor, on why I was putting this, whatever is the first thing inside your mega menu, as an unordered list. So let me rename this right now because it's not an unordered list. We're back to this being a div. Okay, so the problem I had with this is when I turn on a screen reader, and I'm just going to let it play it, but I'm going to explain what you're going to see first. When I tab into this, the first thing it's going to say when it jumps inside the mega menu is and one more item, or and then whatever's inside of it. So it's tripped out by this not being an unordered list, and the only way I've found to fix that is by making an unordered list. So I'll turn on voiceover here and we'll tab through it.
Toggle submenu for subscription plan. Dialog pop-up collapse button. You are currently on a button. Inside of the button, to display a list of options, press Control Option Space.
Okay, so now I'm going to tab into that, and you're going to hear the and one more is my assumption.
And one more item. Dialog visited link starter list 3 items.
So that's where we have this and one more item that comes at the beginning of everything. And that happens as long as I don't make this an unordered list. And I couldn't figure out a way to get rid of that other than making this an unordered list, or maybe even an ordered list. I have no idea. But if I leave this as a div, it does that and one more item.
Voice and one more item. Dialog.
Which is super annoying. Okay, let me catch up here. John says, hello, I'm using free GenerateBlocks and can't seem to figure out how to copy and paste or duplicate blocks because when I do, the IDs are the same on both and copied from the original. Yes, that is something I've experienced too. I don't believe that's the way it's supposed to be, but I never use the free version, so I'm just really unsure. I would say reach out to GenerateBlocks support and see what they can help you with, because I really don't know, because I always install the pro version. All right, hi, I'm so glad to learn about this new block. Is there any way for the mega menus we build to be not included in the DOM in some way? I've built mega menus in the past and it made it really made pages much heavier. Okay, so I don't think it's going to take it out of the DOM. The way GenerateBlocks has done this is wherever you're hooking this mega menu into, so we're like hooking it into this menu item on the back end of WordPress under the menus, it inserts this entire overlay system inside that item. So it's putting it in the right place. I don't know how you'd be able to like hide it out of the DOM and then put it back in when somebody goes into the menu. However, you're not going to have to worry about a bunch of page load issues with this. It's using some really simple HTML and CSS to do it. So as long as you don't go crazy with it, the JavaScript that's powering this is fairly small. So I don't think you're going to see any performance issues. I haven't done any performance testing on this, but I don't see anything in here that's going to make that an issue, as long as you don't get wild. Like if you put a bunch of effects inside here and have everything animating and all that kind of stuff, sure, you're going to come up with issues. But as far as what GenerateBlocks has done for this, I don't think you're going to notice any difference in this than you would a normal drop-down menu. Maybe if you were measuring in, hundredths of a millisecond. So yeah, and if you start adding tons of images, of course, things like that. I used SVGs for all this, so that's super lightweight and they're inline, so I don't see any problem with that. But yeah, if in fact on this one that I did, this has a bunch of images inside of it. You want to make sure those images are sized appropriately and optimized and all that kind of stuff. So I really don't think you'll see any performance issues with this. All right, back to, let's see, Christian had an idea. They have UL, LI, div, and ULLI. The div can be the hidden menu label heading. Okay, who is they? They have. I'm trying to go back to your comments and see if you've mentioned somebody and I'm just not connecting. They have UL, LI, div. I'm kind of lost. Okay. All right, so if this is a UL, because that fixes some of the issues we were having, I'm going to rename it just so we don't forget where we're at. UL. Then they have LI. That would mean this is an LI, right? And this would be an LI. And then inside of it would be a UL and an LI. So we need an extra element in here. Like the div is only necessary if we're labeling it, and we're unsure about that. So I'm going to just kind of throw away the div for right now. So let's see. If we grab all three of these and we wrap them here, actually, it would be easier. Let's not do that. Let's dump that back where it goes. Okay, I'm going to grab this and I'm going to wrap it in a container. And this container is now going to be an LI. It's a list item of this unordered list. Now we need to make sure we go in here and go to lists, none. I don't know if it's padding or margin, so I'm getting rid of both. Cool. Now this can be a UL, which it is. And inside of it are LIs, which there are. Then we need to do the same thing to this one. We need to wrap it. This should be an LI. Not a DD. An LI because it's a child of this UL. Get rid of, damn it, margin and padding. And we need to make the list type none. And then inside of it is a UL. I think that's what you're saying. So let me rename these. This is going to be LI. The last one can be just an LI without having a UL inside of it. It's just going to be on your main LI. Okay, good point. So I've yeah. This can go here. I'll delete that. This can be an LI of this parent. This can just be a span or a div or a paragraph. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so rename this one is a LI CTA. This one is nothing, so we'll just call it CTA text. Okay, and this is LI. I don't even know what to call things anymore. List. I don't know what to call this. Some kind of wrapper in here. Okay, so then overarching unordered list with 2 items inside of it. This list item, which is this wrapper, and then this list item, which is the CTA. And then inside of this, we have another unordered list with all those items. I think semantically this all makes sense. Let's see what happens on the front end. Looks right. Let's turn on a screen reader.
VoiceOver on visit toggle submenu for subscription plan. Dialog pop-up collapse button. Dialog visited link starter list 3 items level 2. You are currently on a link. To click this visited link deluxe. You are current visited link stand visited link take our plan quiz list 2 items. You are currently on a toggle.
Okay, so here's what I heard. We get into here, and the first thing it tabs to is this first item, which is a sub list of the menu. It's like a second level list. So it did mention that we were on like a level 2. Then when we got here and focused on the CTA, it said it was in a list of 2 items, but this was also a list. And I feel like that's extra confusing because we don't know what that first list is. So I feel like now we definitely got to label it, right? So this first list, this needs to be, I'm just, instead of doing the heading and visually hiding it and adding labeled by, I'm just going to put in an ARIA label right now because it makes it quicker and easier to demonstrate. So this is going to be our plan types. We'll just call it plan types. Now we'll see if this makes more sense as we listen to it.
Visited. Toggle submenu for subscription plan. Dialog pop-up expanded button. Dialog visited link starter list 3 items. You are currently on a link. To click this link, press Control Option space.
Because we're not focusing.
Plan. VoiceOver.
The ARIA label needs to be on the UL, I think. Is that what I did? No, I didn't. So let me take that off of here. You're right. But okay, you're right. But I think it's when we get to the CTA and it says it's part of a list that has 2 items. We don't know what that first item was, which is this wrapper here. But we never focus on this wrapper, so it's never announcing it. I moved the ARIA label to the UL. Refresh again.
Visited. Toggle submenu for subscription plan. Dialog. Visited. Link. Starter. List plan types 3 items. Level 2. You visited. Link. Take our plan quiz. List 2 items. You are subscription. Visit.
Yeah.
Subscription plan. Heading.
Okay. Now we get that. We get it reading that this is part of that plans list or whatever. But still, when we get to this, it says 2 items, but we never hear what that first item is. So I feel like all the HTML makes sense now, but it's still very confusing on if you're just using a screen reader. Like we've added complexity to it, but I don't think we've solved it making sense because we never focus on the first list. We only focus on the list within the first list, like the second level list within the first list. So I don't think that this is right for whatever it's worth. But I could be very, very wrong about that. So let's see. Before I just had this div, right? Now I'm totally lost on items wrapper. And these were list items. What happens if I do it like this? This is That makes this a list item like the rest of them, right? I wonder what happens here. In the tools menu item. Oh man. ARIA label needs. I'm lost, man. It's the delay. The delay kills me because I say something and then you immediately respond to it. And then 20 seconds later, when it shows up on my end, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Visited. Subscription toggle sub-menu for subscription plans. Dialog. Visited. Link. Starter. Plan types. Group. 1 of 2. You are currently on a link. Visited. Link. Standard. Visited. Link. Deluxe. Visited. Link. Take our plan quiz. List 4 items. You are toggle sub-menu for subscription plan. Dialog. Visited. Link. Starter. Plan types. Group. 1 of 2.
Okay, group 1 of 2.
To click this link, press Control Option. Visited link. Take our plan quiz. Visited.
I don't like that it doesn't tell you how many items are in here. It just tells you that there's a group and you're in 1 of 2. So that doesn't feel right either. All right. Hey, nice work. Can you please make a video on dark mode and GeneratePress using GenerateBlock elements like a modern toggle? Your old video is not working. Yeah, I mean, I can add it to my list. The old one just responded to browser preferences, I think. But I'll revisit that. Send me an email, cheers@theadminbar.com, and tell me what's not working. And I'll go back and look at that and we can come up with something. All right, so that's not working either. I don't know. Now I've properly lost myself at this point. I had this before as a list item. And we'll have to leave here in just a few minutes. See, it's where all of this. Oh yeah, if you put a URL in the YouTube chat, it just will redact it. I don't even see it on my end, so that's why. Okay, that makes sense. See,
and one more item.
And one more item.
Starter. Toggle sub-menu dialog. Visited. Link. Visited. Toggle sub-menu for top plan. Visited. Toggle sub-menu for subscription plan. Dialog pop-up collapse. Button. Dialog. Visited. Link. Starter. Plan types. Group. 1 of 2. Visited. Link. Take our plan.
Yeah, I think I've properly screwed it up now. So hopefully everybody is very confused at this point. So this is the thing, like building out this mega menu, building out the structure of it, the style of it, getting it connected to the menu item, like all of that was 10 minutes, right? And would have been 5 minutes if I wasn't explaining it as I was doing it. And then we get to this point where it's like, okay, now we need to think about all of the accessibility of all of it. And that's where it starts to get insane. So I need to get an accessibility person to come look at all of this with me and tell me what I need to do in these specific scenarios, because I just don't know enough. And I was looking at some of the they put out a bunch of overlay panel patterns, 42 of them. I would assume they spent time on all the accessibility. I can't see all the colors in here. Trying to see if they got one that's similar to what I got. Excuse me, where there's like a list and then a CTA. So here. Okay. So how did they do this? We got a grid and they've set that as a div. Let's just delete mine. Who cares? And let's just make all the text white. Links. And I just know we can't see anything. Okay, there's also some headings up here. Okay, so they've made this grid, and it's just a div. And then in here, they have a column that's a div. And in there, they got a heading that's an H2. It doesn't have any kind of ID. Then they have this list. This list is set as a UL. And then all the items are list items. Okay, that would be great if this doesn't say and blah, blah, blah is the first thing that it says when you tab into it. But let's see if it does or not.
Visited. Toggle submenu for subscription plan. Menu heading. And 4 more items. Dialog. Visited. Link. Heading level 2. Placeholder 1280x720. Menu heading. Menu item text. A longer and more detailed menu item description. You are currently subscription plans. Toggle submenu for menu heading. Subscription.
Well, this is jacked.
Subscription plan.
Okay, so I know you can't see what I'm pressing on my keyboard, but all I'm trying to do is tab through this menu. Like the only thing I'm going to press on my keyboard is enter to open this drop down, and then I'm just going to be pressing tab just because I want to tab through all these items, right? So you can see it tabs me directly into this CTA, and I never get over here.
Visited. Toggle submenu. Menu heading. And 4 more items.
If I press tab again now, it just
plans, toggle submenu heading. Toggle
it just puts me in a loop. Okay, so this is why like I can't even grab a pattern from GenerateBlocks because theirs is screwier than mine. Like the HTML makes sense in here, but it's not. That's a UL. It's not letting me tab to any of the items. So if you use whatever that pattern is, you've completely screwed up the accessibility. The menu item text are not links. Oh, yeah. They're not. No, are they? They're set up as buttons, but there's no text in them. Good call on that. I was just about bitching at them. I wasn't just about. I was bitching at them. All right, let's try it again. Okay, so now we tab through them. Cool. Now let's see how it sounds.
Visited. The toggle submenu for subscription plan. Dialog pop-up collapse. Menu heading. And 4 more items. Dialog. Visited. Link. Menu item text. List 3 items. You are currently on a link. To click this link. Okay. Press toggle.
So it said menu heading and 4 more items. So we have menu heading, which I know y'all can't see here because it's just black on black, but it says menu heading here. So it's reading that and 4 more items. What are 4 more items? There's 3 more in this list. There's 2 more columns over here. There's 1, 2, 3. This one, is that the 4 more items? I don't know.
Toggle submenu heading and 4 more items and 2 more items. Dialog. Visited. Link. Menu item text. List 3 items.
And 4 more items and 2 more items.
Visited. Link. Menu item text. List 3 items. You are currently on a link. Visited. Link. Visited. Visited. Link. Heading level 2. Placeholder 1000. Toggle submenu for subscription plan. Voiceover off.
They've solved whatever my problem is with it starting out with and 1 more item, but yeah, pure chaos. So let me pull back. I got to wrap this up in just 2 minutes. I don't remember which one of these was the good one, but we'll try number 3. Menu. These are ones I built previously. Let's listen to it.
Visited. Toggle submenu for subscription plan. Dialog pop-up collapse. Button. Your plan options. Dialog. Link. Starter. List 3 items. Link. Standard. Link. Deluxe. Visited. Link. Take our plan quiz. Plan options. Group. You are currently on a link.
I feel like that's not the worst thing in the world, but probably not exactly right. But better than what we ended up with today, for sure.
Dialog. Link. Starter. List 3 items. You are currently on a link. Link. Standard. Link. Deluxe. visited, link, take our plan quiz, plan options, group. You are currently on a link. To click this link.
So let's see how I structured this one. Small 3. Okay, so here I had this as a div, and it wasn't doing the weird announcing thing. Great. Okay, so then I had this as an unordered list, these as my list items. They're all LIs. I had this as just a div, and this is just a span. And that seems to be working better than what we ended up with today when I made it more complicated. So I'm going to say this is the most accessible version I did, but I don't think it's perfect. But I think we're pretty close. So I just need to get an accessibility expert to come hang out with me for 30 minutes and tell me what I need to do on some of these things. It just sucks because I was just telling somebody today, like, there's good resources like written instruction stuff. Man, I just struggle. If you send me written instructions to do something, my eyes glaze over immediately. But if somebody will just sit down and show me, like, I'll figure it out, and I'll figure out a way to explain it. But yeah, I just cannot do it with written instructions. So I have a few accessibility people that I'm going to beg to come help me for 30 minutes and figure this out. But once I do that and I can feel really, really confident about the accessibility, like I feel probably confident enough with this version that you didn't see me build here, but that we just listened to, I would probably put this on my site and feel okay about it. Thanks, Taylor. Record a loom of you reading the written instructions. In fact, I do this constantly. We'll go to the admin bars blog. If I come across a blog post that I want to read, like this one's a really good one, I just don't read this. I just go into the little reader mode here and turn on speed reader and just listen to it. I'll read along as I'm listening to it, but I could comprehend it way better if I'm listening to it. So yeah, maybe you reading instructions will be great. What I was saying, I would probably use this on my site. I feel like it's close enough. Somebody could navigate it, but I hesitate to make a video on how to do it because if it's not exactly perfect and I tell, 1,000 people who watch the video to go do it this way and it's wrong, then I've kind of planted seeds for everybody doing it the wrong way. So I'm very nervous to do this in a way that's not right. Like obviously today is a live stream and I told you I'm trying to figure it out. This is by no means a tutorial. So yeah, interesting. Anyways, let's see. Dave Den, yep, I prefer audiobooks to written content as well. Yep, I'm the same way. And like if I need to learn something, I just need a video. I can scrub through a video really quickly as long as I see it. But if you just wrote me out instructions, I have no idea. Anyways, we'll wrap this thing up. I need to go change clothes so I can go to a meeting. Got to go get some tacos for lunch with my boy Colby from Quickly Hire. He lives here in Richmond as well. So I'm going to go meet with him and eat some tacos and hang out for a bit. And then we got happy hour later today. So if you're a Barfly member and you want to come hang out with us for happy hour, it's in 3.5 hours, 2:00 Eastern. So I think it's in 3.5 hours. We had a bunch of people submit questions, things they're struggling with in their agency or don't know how, what the next step is to take. They submitted questions anonymously and we're all going to try to help them out. So should be a good time there. But I appreciate y'all coming hanging out with me. I'm sorry I didn't give you great instructions on how to do this, but I did show you what it's actually like for me to sit here and question myself for an hour straight, wondering which way to do this and then ending up pretty much exactly where I started. So that's definitely what goes into most of these videos. Like I said, I built these out just to see if I could actually execute them. I was able to do that. And then today I wanted to spend an hour rebuilding it out and nailing it. So I knew when I went and recorded the video, it would be good. But I'm still not there. So we're going to have to do some more work on the accessibility side of it. And I just want to I want somebody who would raise their hand and say, I'm an accessibility expert. And yes, this looks good. If somebody could do that, then I will feel confident enough to make the video. Got to work out class names too. Class naming sucks. And I feel like in my mind, I understand BIM, but then when I go to write it, I end up with something that's like __ this, and then I need another __ that, and then I need another __ that, and I'm like, okay, I've lost the plot here. So, yeah, need to work on the class names for this before I record a video too. Anyways, cool. I appreciate y'all coming hanging out with me. We had like 11 people here watching this chaos, so I appreciate that. Good to have the comments and the help from everybody here. Sorry for the lag in the comments and not knowing what was going on, but we fought through it. Anyways, hope you guys have a great Friday. If I see you in a couple hours, that would be awesome. If not, we'll catch you guys on the next video. All right. Bye-bye.